Hey guys, hello, Hector here, Corpus Christi. Running a little bit late today. Today's been a bit of a crazy day, been going non-stop. But today is our second episode 29 total now we're breaking down my daily episodes into specific categories. So today we're gonna be focusing on deadlift secrets. So over the evolution of our episodes, we're going to continue to progress as I share with you the secrets to building a strong deadlift, building a strong sumo deadlift, which is the way I like to pull. That's where I pull. That's where I get the best leverage over the bar. And I talked a little bit briefly about some of this stuff last Wednesday when I talked about like where to start. You know, what's the difference between a sumo stance and a conventional or classic stance? I even mentioned that I have something that I've put together that you can easily download to where you can get something that you can download that'll kind of guide you through the step-by-step process of building a bigger and stronger deadlift. So a couple of things a few myths I would like to kind of get out of the way as far as building a deadlift, and also the perception that we as lifters sometimes can give people about the deadlift. One of which is wearing a belt while deadlifting or while lifting weights, period. I'm not a big advocate of wearing a weightlifting belt, especially for beginner lifters. People that are just getting into barbell deadlifting or even learning how to use a kettlebell or just strength training in general. I'm not a fan, and actually I don't like when I see people using a weightlifting belt that are beginners. One of the things that I don't like about weightlifting belts and wrist straps and wraps is that we can begin to give this perception that in order to learn how to deadlift, we need to have a belt on, or need to use wrist straps, or we need to wrap our knees, things like that. The vibe that we start to give off whenever we begin to use a belt is we make people think that the deadlift is not safe. You know, the biggest concern that I hear, even people that my family most of all, and several, and people that watch some of our videos, are they think that we're going to hurt our back when we're swinging a kettlebell, when we're doing the barbell deadlift. I hear a lot of comments like, "Oh, I'll never be able to do that. My back would break if I tried to do that." Several other different types of comments. And so I think a lot of this stems from someone that's new to lifting, and they're seeing, videos on YouTube or even videos on Facebook where they see people always wearing a belt and all this different types of gear like straps and wraps. What I would see that as an outside looking in is, well, the deadlift must not be very safe because I have to wear a belt. A lot of people don't understand what the purpose of wearing a weightlifting belt is. A weightlifting belt is not to protect your back, okay? Many people think, okay, if I wear a weightlifting belt, it'll protect my back. Wearing a weightlifting belt is not going to protect your back. The purpose of using a weightlifting belt is to allow, see if I can demo this. The purpose of a weightlifting belt is to basically allow us to, it creates this belt that goes around our torso, right? And the purpose of the belt is for us to be able to push down and brace into the belt. So whenever we're getting ready to, if we're going to do heavy squat or heavy deadlift, and you draw in that air, and you draw that air into your belly, you're trying to forcefully push from the midsection all the way around through your back, is you're trying to push out into the belt. So you can have the crappiest technique in the world, and wearing a deadlifting belt or a weightlifting belt is not going to protect your back. So in my opinion, you don't need to wear a weightlifting belt. I'm going to get a lot of flack on this. I know people are going to disagree, and that's fine. I've proven I don't ever lift with a belt. And it's not an ego thing. It's not an ego thing where I'm like, oh, I don't have to use a belt. I'm that good at deadlifting. It's more of practicality, okay? I've proven that you can build a safe and really strong deadlift without ever using a belt. I've never used a weightlifting belt. And I don't have the biggest deadlift in the world, but I think I have a fairly respectable deadlift. I've built up to a 260 kilogram or 573 pound deadlift without a belt, without straps, without using assistance exercises, while maintaining my training in jiu-jitsu. So I've built up a pretty respectable deadlift, and it's still growing. I'm shooting for 272 kilos or 600 pounds this coming October. So, and I'm not training with a belt. You've got to learn how to build up to that, and you have to learn about bracing. So one of the things we're going to be talking about in the future for deadlift secrets to building a bigger deadlift is your breath work. Knowing how to brace and knowing how to use your breath. Like I mentioned before, breath work will either work with us as far as increasing flexibility and mobility, and we can also use breath work to make us really strong and to create a lot of intra-abdominal pressure. That is what's going to protect your back, not a belt. So we have to basically create this virtual belt by learning how to use our breath. So I've also seen many times people using a belt when they're doing kettlebell presses or barbell presses and the weight is not even that heavy. I've seen people using a belt when they're barely deadlifting 225 pounds. In my opinion, the vibe that you're giving off with that is you're letting people know that even a light weight like that, the deadlift can be dangerous, which is why you have to wear a belt. This is just what I would perceive if I were someone that's never lifted before and I'm watching people that are using a belt and using wrist straps and wraps, is that, well, this might not be a safe exercise for me to do. And the deadlift is, without question, the best exercise that you should be doing to increase the quality of your life, to move better, to be stronger. It's going to strengthen your hips, it's going to strengthen your back, your grip, like everything just gets much stronger and better with the deadlift. But don't worry about using a belt. Also, that can start to put into not only the doubt that the exercise is safe. Well, now they think, okay, now I've got to invest into this other equipment. I got to buy a belt. I got to get straps. I got to start getting all these things when you really don't need to do any of that. You just got to get good at practicing the deadlift. You don't need assistance exercises. If you're trying to build a deadlift, don't worry about, what kind of assistance exercises should I be doing? Should I be doing some glute work? Should I be doing some hamstring work? Should I be doing rack pulls? Should I be doing, deficit deadlifts? Should I be doing these other exercises? And remember, as people, we want the biggest bang for our buck. We are actually lazy people by default. Our brain wants to do the least amount of work and to get the best return possible. So whenever we start to, as people, we start thinking, well, I got to do all these assistance exercises and I got to get all this equipment, that can turn them off too, let alone thinking that the exercise may be unsafe. So in the beginning, as a beginner lifter, now, I'm not saying that assistance exercises are worthless. They all serve their place. But as a beginner lifter, someone that's getting new into barbell deadlifting, or someone that's not trying to train as a power lifter, a BJJ athlete, an MMA athlete, a cyclist, a runner, people that are just trying to get stronger and using the deadlift in general, and they want to build a stronger deadlift and build a bigger deadlift, but they're not trying to become a power lifter, you don't need to be doing assistance exercises. That is when you start doing assistance exercises that you're now making your lifting more of a sport, because now your whole goal is to build an absolute 1RM and to continue to build upon it. You'll naturally get stronger, your 1RM will naturally go up, but you're not focused so much on trying to become a power lifter. So me, as a BJJ athlete, my goal is not to become a power lifter. I do want to build a bigger deadlift, but I'm not going to spend hours a day, hours a month on doing all these assistance exercises, getting all this equipment, and just solely focusing on the deadlift. I want to get strong in the deadlift, and I want that to carry over into my mat time when I'm rolling and training. So everybody has a different purpose of why they want to learn the deadlift. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. Pretty short episode today. Pretty short, quick. Again, I apologize for being late. The deadlift. Secret number one. Myth buster number one. You don't need to be worrying about getting a belt. If you see someone doing a deadlift, it's not going to hurt your back. Clearly, we want to make sure that we're moving better first. You want to find the stance that's going to work best for you, okay? And this is just going to take time, practicing bringing your stance in, taking your stance out wider. You'll find what works best for you depending on your limb length, your femur length, arm length, etc., torso length. All that kind of comes into play when you start to get more competent at deadlifting. Once you've established your lift, you now need to start working on the barbell technique, which is going to come up in more episodes. Don't worry about wearing a belt or getting any assistance straps or lifts or gear. You don't need that. Don't worry about investing your time into assistance exercises. You don't need that right now. You need to get competent at doing the deadlift. As you get stronger, if you wanted to incorporate assistance exercises, once you get to, I would say once you get to a 3 times body weight deadlift, now you're probably going to need to start investing into, and you want to continue to grow that 3 times body weight deadlift. Now you'll need to start, investing some time into assistance exercises. You'll need to start investing some time, maybe getting a belt at that time, to help you to brace more into the belt. But until then, you have no business really doing assistance exercises. I think I was at a deadlift workshop with Pavel and Andy Bolton, and someone asked a question. I'm not sure if it was me or another attendee there asked a question and asked, what type of assistance exercises should I be doing for the deadlift? And Pavel's response was, don't worry about assistance exercises, you have nothing to assist. I thought it was kind of funny, because you haven't gotten strong enough yet. You haven't gotten strong enough that warrants you doing assistance exercises. Get strong doing the lift first. Don't be using wraps. Get your grip stronger naturally by doing the deadlift. Don't worry about assistance exercises. Don't worry about wearing a belt. You don't need a belt. Get stronger through your abs. Do some, learn how to do the hard style plank. Do some hanging, learn how to do the strict hanging leg raise. And just get good at practicing the deadlift. And you won't ever have to use a belt until you start venturing into that 3 times and up bodyweight deadlift. Like I mentioned, I haven't used a belt once in my career, and I've been lifting for quite some time now. I've had no injuries. My deadlift continues to climb just naturally because I focus on the technique. So that's all I wanted to cover today, guys. Episode number 2 of the Deadlift Secrets is knowing that you don't have to use a weightlifting belt. So before I keep repeating myself on and on and on and boring you, that's pretty much all I got. If you're looking to build a stronger deadlift, I've got something put together for you. It's called the Deadlift Blueprint. This is a free download. You can download it from my website. I'll put the link below, but if you want to download the Deadlift Blueprint, I cover some very simple approaches to building a stronger deadlift. And I focus mostly on the sumo, but you can apply the same principles. You can apply the same principles to the conventional, but I mostly focus on the sumo deadlift because that's just where I really like to focus my time. It's called the Deadlift Blueprint. Go to hardstylekettlebell.com/blueprint-gift, and you'll download your free copy of the Deadlift Blueprint. Again, that's hardstylekettlebell.com/blueprint-gift, and get your free copy of the Deadlift Secrets, Deadlift Blueprint, and that's going to coach you through and teach you exactly how that you need to build the deadlift. And I continue to build upon this Deadlift Blueprint. The first volume is currently out now and ready to download. So if you have any questions, put something in the comment section below. Tomorrow is Kettlebell Expert Secrets, where I'm going to be covering everything kettlebells. We're going to start focusing on history of kettlebell training, who is kettlebell training for, how can you get better at specific kettlebell skills? That's something we're going to be covering tomorrow, and I'm going to be covering that tomorrow morning at our normal time, which is between 8:30 and 9 o'clock in the morning. So tune in tomorrow. Kettlebell Expert Secrets. Don't forget to download your Deadlift Blueprint, heartstylekettlebell.com/blueprint-gift. Have a good day, guys.